Hey Mama, how's it going? Hey Samantha, how's it going? How's everybody? MK, you in here? What about Red? Tiffany's in here. Yay, awesome. Good to see everybody. I got some questions. Cardiology, radiology, medicine, lab, E&M, all kinds of things we can go over tonight. You'll have to bear with me. I'm on a new system, so I'm trying to get rid of some of the glare we've had. And also, I have the books on a book stand. It's a turntable one. And then I have my, let's see, we got our computer right here. And I'm hoping my camera is happier with this situation than it has been, so that it'll stay focused going back and forth. We'll see. I still haven't figured out how to screen share my computer top with you, which would split the screen and then you could see the book and the computer screen in one shot. That would be awesome. I could do it if TikTok lets me have my own access to my live stream key. And they let certain streamers do it. So I don't know what the magic formula is, but they don't let everybody have their key. But hopefully, if I keep doing these lives every day, because I'm still doing the bookie ones too, that they will let me have my key. And then I can go stream on other services with my TikTok. But I'll be able to use enhanced ways instead of just using a cell phone. Let me make sure those kids are doing what I asked them to do. He's all disturbed. Grandma's doing okay. Waiting on my mom to come in, see how she's doing today. My boys are still grounded from the shenanigans Monday, so it's always more work for the parents when the kids are grounded. Oh, so they've been doing chores, but my kitchen hasn't looked so good, or my baseboards. Oh my gosh, the laundry room needs to be done next. We did the garage. They had to do the garage today after school, so I'm getting some housework out of them. How's everybody doing? Hey CC, how's it going? You and them sugar beans. Oh, already got 30 in here. Okay, y'all are on fire tonight. Y'all are ready for some medical coding action for sure. So let me see. We're going to be in cardiology first off. So remember, when you're in the CPC exam and you're going from answer to answer, because you're not going from question to question, but be sure and look up here at the top when you're looking for a range of numbers so that you can find your answers faster than looking from column to column. It takes a little getting used to remember to do it, but it does work. Yep. Any questions? Any questions about anything before I get started? What did the boys do? Oh my goodness. So this weekend I spent more time with them than I normally do because I'm usually either tutoring or, you know, on TikTok or doing something for you guys. So I made an effort to take them to the mall, and we got haircuts. We got their eyebrows threaded. Yes, you're going to think I'm totally weird, but the boys really love it. It was their second time getting it done. And just in general, spent all weekend hanging out with them and doing things. Sunday too. And then Monday morning, sent them off to school with their new haircuts, new eyebrows, and James got his new glasses from last week when we went to the eye doctor, and I get not one but two calls on both kids on Monday morning about their behavior. Travis was told by his English teacher that he had an English assignment they were fixing to do, and he had some anxiety about getting it done. So while she's doing other things and was talking to the class and had her back to him, he went on and dug through her desk and got out today's assignment and got started in working on it. Well, you know, you can't go touch teacher's desk and take anything off of it. She wasn't happy about that, but, you know, he was doing his work. She just was slow about passing it out. He felt, and I said, that's wrong. And then poor James, he was in science class doing yo mama jokes to his best friend sitting next to him. You know how they're always doing. What's that? What are you drinking? Everything is yo mama. Everything is your mama when they're 12 years old. So his teacher asked him to be quiet, and he said, well, this is what kids do. Well, she's a 30-year veteran and teacher, and she did not appreciate being told what kids normally do, so she called me, and yeah, he ended up in trouble too. He actually got in-school suspension for that. And he, you know, he wasn't malicious, but he was just trying to joke, and, you know, he's trying to impress girls and stuff at this time. But yeah, not a good Monday. It was like, if this phone rings one more time. So they've been grounded ever since. I don't know if you could tell, but James wears glasses. So this was before he got his eyebrows done. And then this is him afterwards. Don't they look so good? They do they just love getting their eyebrows done. Let's see, this is Travis. He is bushy man, unibrow guy. And let's see, I think you can see this one's a lot better, like the thickness of all the eyebrows. It's so funny. Boys are hairy, but that's him afterwards. He likes making funny faces with those eyebrows, but they looked so cleaned up and so much better. So, you know, I put in the effort for them over the weekend, and then they go to school Monday acting all a fool. So they've been doing nothing but chores. No TV, no electronics in the afternoons ever since. So 3 days of that, man, my house is looking good. Your brain is getting itchy, Sean, huh? Hey, Lily. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They are a mess. Those are my youngins. I got an older one who's 30. But they're all fun. Fun kids. It's you know, hard to raise a good man, but it's easy to raise a pretty kid or a good kid. So the kid part is good. I just have to get them turned into being good men, good citizens, and that's the hard part. We're getting into that area. But thank you, Beth. It's so good seeing you. Miss Beth passed her exam. Yay, yay, yay. She's still here learning. So let's check out my first question I had. For the process of elimination, what does this say? What are we going to keep and what are we going to get rid of? bring this back just a little bit. There we go. Try not to let y'all look at the question much. But what are we keeping? Let me just make it sure. Yep. What are we keeping? Yep. A and D. Don't look at anything else. Don't worry about modifiers. Don't worry about reading the question. You're only looking at the first numbers. And we've got 3 through 3 all the way down, 6 all the way down. We've got the 2's all the way down. Then we have a 5 and a 5. The 1 and the 4 can go away because they're farther away. So that's what the process of elimination just is. I'm just looking at things numerically because AAPC has a pattern of giving you 2 throwaway answers and then 2 answers that are similar, if not the same, but then they have a guideline that they're trying to ask you about. So there's a reason they picked this one particular code, but then they added some extra ones with it. So they want to know the components of the CPT book. Tell us things like this procedure already includes radiology, for example, because our 7 codes are radiology. Or it already includes procedures like trachs or emergency stuff that happens. And some codes don't include it, and we need to know the difference, if it's allowed or if it's not. So that's all they're asking for in this one. And I don't want to show too low because I don't want y'all seeing the question yet. So what I do is I just do the process of elimination numerically, and then I go to my CPT code and look for what's going on in my CPT code to see if there's any rules like parentheticals or anything that's going to tell me whether I can add anything like radiology or anything else in our little book. So if I go down here to our code, I have a few little things written down here, but okay, I got to be careful with the sides here. We're going to see that this CPT code I have prepped for the CPC exam. So if you haven't done this, this is what I do. I go through and highlight what is in any brackets, and those are just reverse C's in a CPT code descriptor if there is anything like that. Not everything will have something in brackets, but if it does, I make sure I highlight that. I find things that if they're unilateral or bilateral, I'll make sure I put that over here underneath the CPT code, so I only have to look and grab and go. But this included radiology and measurements. So this one particular code does include radiology, measurements, and supervision and interpretation. So this is one of those wham, bam, thank you, ma'am codes. You don't need to add a bunch of fluff to it. It's already got it. And no, I have not prepped all of cardiology yet. I'm still working on it. So most of it doesn't have anything done yet to it. So don't freak out about some of my stars aren't there. So yeah, with this one, I would just note that it's already got a bunch of stuff in it. So without even reading the question, if I can get this crane to come back up, we are going to know that our answer is D, and we didn't have to read any of it at all. That's it. It's all there is to it. Super easy deasy. And that's what I love teaching you guys to see and to try to help y'all make it through these questions without, so much stress and looking up every code and trying to code like you are a coder, because this exam's already coded for you. And there's a particular reason why they're picking the numbers that they are and why they have you looking in the book where you're looking at. There's a reason. They want to know if you know how to utilize the book appropriately with the guidelines you've been giving. What, James?
Grandma wants to know if the package out in front of the glass door is like a return or something.
No, that's her cork board soundproofing the walls since you guys are so freaking loud. That's Grandma's box. Grandma ordered some soundboards for her casita. She lives, it's like a mini house next to our house, but it's still attached. But we're some loud folks. So there's a wall that attaches her little house to our house. It's an outside external wall, but it's still not enough soundproofing for her. So she ordered it. She's asking me if it's a return. I'm like, no, it's your stuff. You told me you ordered it. I don't know how she's going to get that stuff hung up, but we got to figure that out too. We've only been living here since 2013. Now she's deciding to buy some soundproofing. So, you know, the older the boys get, I guess, the older, the louder we're all getting. Oh, trying to figure out, how did I do this? I was practicing this before I logged on, and it seemed to be an easier process than what it is now, but I'm forgetting something. Who knows what? But we've got, again, to do the process of elimination, what you think we're going to be doing, which ones are we keeping? Yeah, I'd get rid of B. I don't know what's going on here with D, but it seems unlikely. It seems like they might ask the times or not a times, but irregardless, I'll leave it there just in case. We'll see. But I'm going to go check out that code and see what's going on. Are we at 77? You focus. 77427. I'm close. 427. Oh, there it is. It is here. I have not done radiology yet for notes. But right now we're looking at radiation treatment management for 5 treatments. Are there any parentheticals that we need to know about? Nope. But there are some guidelines with these. The one underneath it, the 31, which is in D, says that it's also radiation therapy management for 1 to 2 treatments. This one's for 5 treatments. That's what's going on in these. So we can look at our question real quick and see if we can figure out what's going on and why are they asking us something here about this one. Let's see. There we go. Hopefully focus is working better with this crane. It's just I have to manipulate it from one thing to another. I wish I could flip from one camera to another because I could have 2 cell phones going at the same time, but until TikTok loves me and gives me our key, maybe hitting those hearts might help, but I'm beholden to them. So right here it looks like our patient is getting what? We're going to go backwards and we see the number 2, treatments of cancer. And then we see the number 5. 5 and 2. So what do you think the answer is? Come on, focus better. You can focus better. How would you code 7 treatments of radiation therapy? Very good, guys. Not a one of you got tricked on this one. I've taught it before in a live, so that tells me a lot of you have been around a long time and you're doing great. Love it. Radiation is one of those things that you have to plan and bill ahead of time, which is really crazy. There's a lot of things you don't do, but you're going to actually plan to give a patient 5 treatments, or you're going to plan to give them 1 or 2 treatments. That's just the standard for radiation. And that affects stuff. If you say and you plan that you're only going to do 1 to 2, but you end up doing 4, you eat those other 2. If you plan on doing 5, like this patient, and they ended up doing 7, you just eat the other 2. You don't bill, and you don't add on, and you don't do any math. You just have to plan ahead of time. And they had already, this patient had already received 5 treatments already, so whatever else you do in additional is just additional. No other coding is needed for that. So really good. Really good job. We're going to go to around the 934s. And no, I have not done medicine yet. In the 2022 book anyway. 934s. Cardiovascular. All this scares people most of the time. And all the green in this book, all the green text is new information for 2022. If you are keeping your 2021 books, that's perfectly fine, and it's actually a really great year. They did a little bit more updating in the medicine section than any of the other sections. For example, in E&M, they had you delete 1 sentence and add 5 codes to that section, and that's it. And the rest of the sections are pretty similar, but medicine they did update just a little bit more. And these aren't new codes, but they added in new do nots for all of these codes here in cardiology, and then they added in some do's. If you wanted to keep your 2021 books, I do have a document up on Etsy that I made for you that shows you where to add any additionals or to delete whatever sentence they wanted you to delete, what page to write down the new codes on. It does give you a lot of information. A lot of this you won't be able to fit in, but you can at least fit the CPT code number and your 1 or 2 words that's the main difference between the codes, and then a couple of your do nots for sure, but you won't need all that wording underneath there. Just write your do nots, like don't code this one with those 5 codes, and you can just write it right underneath it, somewhere right in that area. But it's super handy dandy little document if you wanted it. It's neat to have. I think I would have loved to have had it when I used the 2018 books for 2019 year. And I probably missed a couple. I mean, I passed, but I probably missed a couple because they did have new updated codes. The only thing so far I've heard that is a new CPT code that is not in this 2021 book is a COVID positive patient code, diagnosis code. I still need to get that code for you guys and show it to you. Hey lady, how's it going? Yep, if it's recorded, absolutely, it's going to be posted up on YouTube. It just looks a little different tonight because I'm using different stands and stuff. But Thank you so much for helping out. All right, let's look at our question. Okay. What codes are we keeping? I like A and B too. Just don't forget C's down here. It's super close, but it's still a 60, but it's really close. So most definitely get rid of C and probably D too. Let's go see what our differences are on the 58 and the 59. So don't have any notes in this book. That's driving me nuts. Where's my 2021 book? You can do it, the exam, without notes. People do it all the time, but it certainly makes it a lot easier if you go through these codes and do your differences beforehand. It does help. So let me twirl this around and take this ICD-10 book down and put this one up. So my 2022 will eventually look like this when we're done with it, and we'll have what the differences are. 58 is left arteries, 59 is left bypass graft and arteries. Probably can't see. Make sure I got my stuff where we're supposed to be. There we go. So I'll eventually get this done. It's just a lot of work to do, as y'all know, as y'all are copying my notes. But that's the difference. We got left arteries, and then the other one, 59, is going to be bypassing grafts and arteries. And our 60, our lovely 60, is a combo. It's doing right and left arteries. So we can come back over here to our computer. And you're going to focus, mister. You are so going to focus. Does not like looking at my 2021 book at all. All the rainbows make the camera very nervous. So we're just going to be looking, are we doing left and right? First of all, and then do we have graphs? We seeing any bypass or graphs? Everybody's saying A. We've only got a 58. Y'all are right. We got a 58. Very good. But that's the joy of having your notes already pre-written. Sorry, I think my screen. Hold on, what are we doing? No. There we go. Having your notes already done, so you don't have to look at this page and go, oh no, what's the difference between 58 and 59? They're both left heart catheterizations. Left heart catheterizations, you can see how it was a whole lot easier reading it the way I had it written out here to the side, because this one includes the grafts and the bypass already written. It's a whole lot easier when we do it that way. I like it with that stuff written. Any questions? Y'all are good. Y'all already know all these. All right, we're going to be in the 9-5 area on this one. 957. ish area. I wish I did have all my Etsy in one pack. I'm actually having a really hard time finding any website that would hold that much information unless I just individually Dropboxed everybody that purchased them a link to the files all on some Dropbox or something, but there is nowhere that will hold especially mine are in color. I take pictures of them in color and then I change them into PDFs, which makes the file sizes so large. Even some of my Etsy's, like just one section, is 5 downloads each. It's just because the file sizes, I can't upload anything larger than 25 megabytes. It has to be smaller than that. And like cardiology will be 5 uploads of 5 different files that are all pretty large. So I'm trying to do something with my website. It'll hold 40 megabytes. Or if I can, and somebody has sent me the tutorial to Dropbox and all that stuff. Maybe I can get them all loaded up there and we can download them from there. But then that means manual work on me each purchase. So I don't know. I'm working on finding a solution to this, but right now, no, I can't. But what I can offer you is a coupon. So if you want to buy 3 or more, I think it is, sections, if you do 30 and then the word percent, so it's just percent, and then Jen, my name, all one word, that will get you 30% off of the entire shopping cart. So I don't know if it matters if this is uppercase, but I made it all uppercase. Percent. It's the word, not the symbol. So 30% Jen will get you 30% off your entire shopping cart. You're welcome. But if you've got other issues, let me know. Let's see. We've got what 2 are we keeping and what, yes, just what 2 are we keeping? And the store's on sale till the 15th. Just 10% off. 2. Yeah, I like C and D too. 17 and 18, you can't get any closer than that. That looks great. I do like those too. So let's get rid of A and B, and I'm 957. Where do you be? Those are going to be out of sequence too. You gotta love it. So if you haven't seen or heard, the CPT book is a numerically ordered book. Everything's in order by numbers. But for reasons known to me, several of the codes, hundreds of the codes are out of sequence. They are not in numerical order. And when they are out of order, they notify you and tell you they are out of order, but they don't tell you what page number they moved them to. You get to go on a scavenger hunt and go find them. Well, in the middle of a timed exam like we're doing, there's no time to go on a scavenger hunt. So you need to prep your book ahead of time and go find all of these codes that are out of numerical sequence ahead of time. So where would these be like normally? Where are they at supposed to be? 957. I'm just trying to find the red page where they're, okay. Anyway, they are definitely out of sequence. I have, oh Lord, I done hit something on TikTok. Okay, now they're on, I'm in the 2021 book because this one's marked up and I love having my marks up. So we've got 17 and 18 down here at the bottom. So we have an EEG going on. This is for 2 to 12 hours, and this is going to include the VEG. So if we don't see that they included a VEG, then we know our answer is 17. And that's all. We're just looking for a VEG. Makes it a whole lot easier. Come on. You can look. Come on, camera. Let's get the ceiling fan out of the way. Well, maybe that's not as fuzzy. Everything's as fuzzy. And then I got the answer showing. Oh, there we go, finally. Jeez. Wake up, camera. All right. I don't know why it's so slanty, but it is. So do we see that they did any video recording during this? No. They actually do say right there, no video. So that's super handy dandy. So we know our answer is D. Yeah. Well, in the 2021 book, we're in 778. In the 2022 book, they're supposed to be on 795, but they're going to be on 778, you said? I don't know where they're at in this book yet. I haven't done all these out of sequences, but if you have not done that, all these codes are out of sequence, and they tell you the scavenger hunt range to go look for them. Just write down the page numbers down beside them. That will save you the biggest headache of your life, especially during lab path and medicine. There's so many of them, and it will just, kill you to not have to look up all those. Last year there was one exam of the different ones that they had that did not have any out of sequence codes at all on the exam, but the other 7 versions had multiple out of sequence codes on their exam. So that's super muy important to do, even if you're in the E&M section. I've even done that. I just put down what page number they're at, and then I also put down what column number they're at, but you don't have to go that far. As long as you've got where the heck they're at, that helps out a whole bunch. And you have to go through the whole entire book to do it. Or print out my notes where they're already done for you. If you want to do that, because I've done that and more here with these lovely notes. All right, let's go see what are we doing with our next one. Guidelines. So which of the example right here Come on. Focus. Focus, focus, focus. Promise you can do it. Of course, I change the screen and touch it. It's just getting so frustrating. I just want to not go live because I have to deal with this all the time. And it just should work so much better. I don't know how to make it any better than what I'm doing. Ugh. I'm running out of desk space because it's just not. Okay, if I ever get it to focus on the computer screen again, I'm not going to change it. Y'all have to look in y'all's books. So get out your books and y'all can run to your code books because I can't deal with this thing anymore. And had it. Come on, focus. Just focus. Oh my Lord. Okay. There we go. So which one's fraud? Reporting the code for ultrasound guidance when it is when used in a liver biopsy. If you're going to stick a needle in my liver, you're absolutely going to use something to go look-see and see. And using an ultrasound for a liver biopsy is not fraud, so we would be okay with that one. Reporting a lab panel with an additional lab test that is not included in the lab panel is not fraud, because I can have a CBC, which is a panel, or a basic metabolic panel and a TSH drawn at the same time. One of them's a panel, a complete metabolic panel, which will have my cholesterol, chloride, I don't know, all kinds of stuff, potassium. But then I can order an individual test and just get a TSH or a glucose individual, whatever's not inside the panel. And they're not saying specific, but that is not fraud. You can absolutely order individual test and a panel at the same time. Failing to append modifier 26 on an x-ray that was performed with interpretation and by a physician. Now, if you get an x-ray of your finger because you broke it, don't you expect an interpretation to be at the bottom of it to tell you whether your finger's broken or not? What's the purpose of having a report come back to your doctor's office without an opinion whether it's broken or not. That's not fraud either. Now, I know we have to append a bunch of things to add some interpretation, but that's not it. A lot of x-rays already include, or some of them don't include interpretation and stuff. You have to know which code it is, but you can add it or you can leave it off, depending on the descriptor for the particular CPT code. Reporting a biopsy when you did an excision performed on the same skin lesion on the same day. So when you cut something off of somebody's body, are you the one that is going to report back to say what it was you cut off? Most doctor's offices and stuff, we don't know what the heck we cut off. We're going to put it in a little petri dish, kind of like my physical therapy Play-Doh, and we're going to send it off to the lab. And it's called a biopsy. And they are going to evaluate whatever it is that we cut off and let us know what it is. But can we bill for what the lab does? No, unless we have an in-house lab that actually has its own pathologist and all that stuff that are actually reading that stuff. Most of the stuff that is just being sent out and being done by a different lab that will bill for what was inside this. So B is the one that is fraud. Hey, hi, thanks for the follow. Yep, same encounter. Absolutely. We can do biopsies, of course, and we can do excisions, but we don't do them, and we don't bill for what the lab's going to do and those kind of things. It can't be done on the same day as it was sent in the sample to the lab. You can't report until we get the results. That's right. Good job, MK. All right, we got another guideline. This one is what is true regarding the code assessment for CKD requiring dialysis. We were talking about that on Monday's Live. So here is A, B, C, and D. Kind of remember also, what have I told you about some key terms in some of these wordy questions? What should you avoid? That may help you for just a second. Let me check on my demons real quick. I'll be right back. Yep, only. So we've got only, and only. C has should be. Definitely very different wording. Only, always, never. Those are definites, and coding is very, well, if this and if that. Sorry, I'm hitting things. So, yeah, avoid those. So this is a great example of that kind of question where the answer is made obvious when you get rid of just the onlys. That's super helpful. Now, will every question be like that? I wish I never took all the class with AAPC. I'm so sorry, Red. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you should just go straight to the questions. If they're ever in a class, just go to the reviews, go to the exam questions, the chapter review, the exam questions, and the quiz, and the, what's those other things that they do? They do the, hold on. They do these, what do they call these things? That's the quiz, and then they do the review, but then they also do, like, I don't know, these fill in the blank things sometimes. What do they call those things? They're crazy. Oh no, not me. I gotta find it because it's gonna drive me nuts what word I'm trying to say. So if I go into COC or something like that, I've got practical applications. Yeah, this is all you need from their course, by the way. If you are taking one of their AAPC courses, just do the quiz, print it, save it as a PDF, put it in here, and do the review for that chapter, then do the practical application for that chapter. Save all that. Don't worry about the videos, don't worry about the PDFs, don't do anything else but these things. Just get these and go over those questions individually. Figure out, why are they asking me what they're asking me? Like for any of their questions, they'll give you a rationale of why they picked out that question, what's going on in that question, plus you can see what the other options would have been and why you would want to get rid of those. It's super handy when you have the entire question and then you've got A, B, C, and D, and then you can look for inconsistencies, like A does not start out with in accordance. B, C, and D start out with the same word. With diagnosis, what's different? In accordance, and in accordance. They put an and in this one, and then the D, they only have the in accordance. So I would get rid of C, and then that just keeps B and D, and then keep looking for whatever one word difference is in that question. And we've got medical practice, we finally get practice, and then most appropriate level care, or most appropriate level care, and the most appropriate setting. Well, that sounds even better than C does, or D that I was looking at. So B's the answer. Figure out why, word for word, what's the difference in that question? Why did they pick out that answer? Just those reviews and practical stuff, and yeah, reviews, that's all you need out of those classes for whichever one you pick. The rest of those PDFs and videos are not helpful for the final exam at all. You just go through those questions one by one, figure out why they asked it, what's the differences in all the answers, what similarities do things have. That's what I did, just to figure out this method right here that makes things a whole lot easier. Yeah, CPB is harder. It's meant to be. CIC is probably one of your worst for sure. I have all those done too. It's just the nature of the beast. There's so many options, so many different rules for sure. They're all very, very different, absolutely. but they do get increasingly more difficult as they go on. You should see just some of the CIC questions and reviews and things. They're insane. And then if you go into the specialty for like cardiology and OB and delivery, those questions even get even worse and way more complicated. It makes you happy to go back to your CPC exam questions for sure. Yep. But C is your answer, and I can tell by that pattern of should be is more vague than only. Yeah, we definitely don't want that. All right, here's another one for our kidneys. We've got a stage 2. What did the Z codes tell us? What would a Z code be? Thank you for the ice creams and the lollipops. Those are cute. You're very kind. Could be, or history of. History of is what I like to think of. The T codes means what? What did the T86 in general mean when you're in that scenario? What's going on with those T codes? Yep, complication or an injury. Something happened to them. Don't know what, but it's usually an injury. So if we would look up at this question, we've already seen that we're stage 2 kidney, and of course we see that he has a renal transplant 2 years ago. So they're obviously, the way they're flipping these codes around, and some of them are very similar, they're wanting to know, do we know the guideline that's attached to a post-operative history of a transplant who's here today for current treatment of stage 2 kidney disease with a history of a renal transplant? How would we code it? There's a sequencing guideline that would be involved in this. Yep. We're definitely going to code for what they are being seen today, which is a lot of the ways that it's always is for whatever's going on. Even if you have a pregnant woman with HIV who sprains her ankle and goes to the ER for the ankle injury is going to go first. If she didn't fall and hit the baby and there's no concern there, she just stepped wrong, and now her ankle is black and blue and very painful to walk on. Just like with that, this one, the patient was actually being seen today for their CKD2. They just have a history of. So, yep, we're going to do the N18-2 first, and then we'll definitely do that Z94 second. If you haven't done so by writing any of these examples down near the CPT codes, I really recommend you doing that, or the ICD-10 codes. In the ICD-10 book, you can go to your N18.2 and quickly write with Z94.0 if history of renal transplant 2 years ago, current CKD stage 2. Just something simple, 4 words will do, and then write both codes or add the Z code underneath the 18.2, whatever you got to do. But that's super helpful. Just like if you were taking a course from AAPC and you had all these little chapter review questions, if you took all of them and put that little example of how they coded that G43 code for that scenario, was diagnosed codes for what condition? Chronic whatever common migraine headache. I had headache on my CPC exam, and I hate coding headaches because there's too many of them and too many rules. I should bring that question down for you guys. But for a common migraine headache with status migrainosis, very interesting, we're going to code that G43.701. So I would definitely write that down in my ICD-10 book near the G43s, just so that I would have it and have the wording that they used in the exam question, starting with chronic and ending with migrainosis. Just to the side, there's not a lot of room, but you kind of have to turn everything parallel and write up and down, kind of like I do in my CPT books when I'm brackets a couple of codes together. But that's super helpful to have those references during your exam. Can I repeat what? I'm sorry, Pink Lady. What would you like me to repeat? Is it the diagnosis scenarios in the ICD-10 book? Because I can show you an example. Probably be better than just telling you. But I gotta move my dang camera, so I'm gonna be mad about it, but I'm gonna get over it. Not mad at you, I'm mad at my camera. It should work properly. This is like the 20th century. Why do I have to have broadcasting that's so archaic, you know? It's very frustrating. I don't like it. All right, where am I at? I'm on example 464. Be helpful if I put up my Play-Doh. 4. I-45, what? 89? I-45, 89. I think I got a book up here. Even if you didn't write any words, okay, this is your ICD-10 book. I've got a scenario where a patient was diagnosed in one of my practice exam questions with all this. He had these procedures done with those modifiers, but he also had all these diagnoses. So this is chronic ischemic heart disease, right? We've got a very complicated thing to code anyway, but I know it's first in my coding sequence. I would code him with this first, then I would code him with this one, and then this one. So I start out with a whole scenario where the very first code in the sequence would be, and then if I go to like the 145.89 is over here in the same color, purple. I would have that it's an example on page 661, which was where I was at on page 661. And then I can go to the I-59 and have the same scenario mentioned back to that one, just in case I had a CHF too. So I like to do even the CKDs this way. I do the burns this way. most definitely. All my CKDs are here with tons of examples. Like they'll say an example of CKD4 is on page 510, and I'll keep them in the same color. I've got another example on 525. I didn't do this for you guys, that's why the handwriting is so bad, but just my own notes of how I would do it. I've got another one for 889, that page number for the CKD. Just super helpful to write things like that. And I can go back to all the examples of any kind of external causes, and they'll say that there's an example on a page, and to go look for it where it's at. If I ever needed to see where I would put a T code, there's tons of codes. This one starts out with the T code first, so it must have been a poisoning, right? They did it to themselves because the poisoning code is first. We have a guideline that if the doctor prescribes it, the symptoms go first, but this one, the T code is first, so we know they did it to themselves. And then they had all these diagnoses with it. And then I wrote a little scenario. Tylenol, yeah. Previous attempt, the person took too much Tylenol. They previously attempted this before. They're having abdominal pain and fever and stuff. But super helpful just to write a little note about whatever's going on in those diagnosis scenarios in the book. That's how I prep them for that. Let's see, what else do I have? Let me get my other one. I've got so many years, and I've done different things in different years to, because learning as you go, it's kind of neat to play around with coding and figure out what works better one year versus another year. So other things I like to do is I'll go to these chapter headings, and that's where I'll keep any guidelines for that entire chapter in the ICD-10 book. So many of you have probably already seen this, where if I'm in the chapter header of external causes, the morbidity one, I have it color-coded as to which one goes first. If I'm going to code anything out of this part of the chapter, the cause goes first, then the intent, the place, and then activity and status. These are never first. Chapter 19 can be first, but they still have to be in this place of order. So chapter 19 has the same thing. You just take away the is never first. And then burns are in here in the S's somewhere. So in my chapter heading for burns, it's definitely going to have the guideline for it there too. Probably have to go through it in the index, because my index has the guidelines at the top under burns. So if I go to, we've got burns at the T's, T22. Let's go to T22s. I've moved it there too. I thought burns were in the S's. Don't rely on your brain for anything nowadays. T22s. Burns. See, I've got more scenarios, and that's how I write them. I write them this way. And this will be the start. So anything else, all those X codes or other T codes will refer back to this page, because I have that example right there. But I know burns will have that sequencing guideline written right there at the beginning of the T code, so that I know it. And there's one I've already got an example on page 1115. This is not the first code in the series, so it just has that on it. But if I go to 1115, I'll find the very first code in that sequence that it should have been, which is that one, and then all those listed with it, with the CPT codes. That's what I like to do in the ICD-10 book to keep it fresh in your memory. Then you don't have to second guess yourself. You've got it in front of you, so that's helpful, I think. Don't start, camera. Not focusing. All right, we got E and M. E and M. Come on, camera. There we go. With E and M, all you can do is look for coding irregularities, really. But you need to go look up the codes to get your one-word differences in them. What is our 217 code? Does that look normal? What is 99217? What does that tell you is going on there? Sometimes we can do process of elimination and get rid of things, but this one's just not going to be one because they're all over the place. None of them are paired together. But what is our 217? Prolonged service. No, that's observation discharge. Yeah. Observation discharge. Yep. Yep. What is 99235? And that B code, the 99219, that is also a discharge. So you can kind of tell here that they're really trying to see with these 217s here, do we understand that there is an observation code that has discharge and admit in the same code? If you read into the 99235 just a little bit further than normal, the third line says admission and discharge on the same date. So they've separated it out as the 19 and 17, where one is an admit and one is a discharge. And 217, yep, 217 is our observation discharge care. Yep, that's just, it would mean that a different doctor admitted them to observation, and then a different doctor discharged them. What if it's the same doctor? That's the key difference there, and what they're wanting to know on this particular question. Sorry about the ceiling fan glare at the top. Here's your question. Here we go. So if we we look from the bottom up, it does say same day discharged. Some are saying C, some are saying D. So we've got the physician performs his history, examination, and determines the patient is suffering from dehydration. The physician placed the patient on IV fluids and monitors them for a couple of hours. Then the patient is discharged and sent home. Doesn't the doctor get credit for all the above stuff too, not just the discharge? So yeah, the doctor gets credit for doing both. That's why we're going to do the 99235. The voicemail. I love that name. That's cool. Thank you for the likes, guys. Oh, I turned on my live spotlight. What the heck is that? I don't know what that is. All right. Let's see if we got another question. Ooh, radiology. Radiology. Okay. What are we going to keep? What two? I'm hinting. What two are we going to keep? Everybody agree? You wouldn't want to keep the zeros at the end? You want to keep the 5 and 6? I'm just asking. 7, 6, 7, 7, 6, 7, 0, 5. Yeah, I like B and C too. That's exactly what I would keep. I would get rid of A and D. What's our differences between 5 and 6? So 5 is a child code and it's limited for a single organ. And then the 06 is an aorta. So we've got an 06 is an aorta, and 05 is a single organ. So let's go see what's going on in our question. So what's going on? If we're looking from the bottom up, I see ultrasound, liver, and that's as far as I go. I wouldn't want to read nothing else up there. That's all I would read. It looks like it's just one organ, guys. Nothing about an artery there. So I would pick B and move on. You see that, MK? Single organ. The 06 is an aorta. Yeah, you can't match ultrasound. They're all ultrasounds. Look at 00, which is the parent code of 05. It's an ultrasound too. Everything on this page is ultrasound. The 04, 41, 42, 76, 75, 70, 06, even the 00 down at the bottom. Everything is an ultrasound. You just need to know where the ultrasound is being pointed at. And the differences on those was a single organ or an aorta. Yep. Very good, MK. It's often not the first word in the CPT code descriptor. It's often a word in the middle of the CPT code descriptor that is your difference. So if by chance you don't have the notes by 76705, put single organ. By 76706, put aorta. And then the 76700 is abdominal. It's complete, all the organs in the abdominal area. You're welcome. You're more than welcome. All right. Some more medicine numbers. Don't let it scare you though. Just go one number at a time. We've got all 9s. Get rid of all that mess. There we go. Then we've got all 6s, and then we've got some discrepancies. We've got a 5 and then a 9 and another 9. We're going to keep A and C. I like the way you think. I would get rid of the 999s and the 913. The 67 to the 70 is only 3 numbers away. So 67, 68, 69, 70, something like that. 4 numbers away, 3 numbers away, however you want to look at it. Depends on if you count the first one or not. So we go to 96567. 965. Don't forget to look at the top numbers at the top of your book. 96. Yeah, some cool stuff that I've never gotten to do. And I've done a lot of stuff in medicine. I've done laser therapy, but often the doctors go away for a weekend for a crash course from the manufacturers of these machines that are created, and that weekend they learn and get certified on using the machine. And then they bring those machines back to their doctor's office, and then they have their office managers figure out how to use them, because they don't remember nothing from the weekend because they were just partying with their friends, having a good time in Palm Springs or something. But I remember when the laser systems just started, that happened with me. We got a new one in there, and they were like, well, how do you turn it on? Well, I don't know. Well, they didn't teach you how to do that? Maybe. But they taught me a lot in a weekend. I couldn't remember all of it. Sure. They should send us instead. So the 67 and the 70. 70 is an add-on code. Would we use that one by itself? Interesting. It's got a little plusy plus beside it, even though, I don't know, it does in my book anyway. 67. So 67 is to destroy malignant lesions. And then 70 is to ablate abnormal tissue. And 67 is pre-malignant lesions. Here's our question. And it actually, we've got over the lip, we do have a lesion right there, and we've got pre-malignant. And this one has a plus in front of it, so that already made me wary. So I would just pick that C and move on. Move on. Yep, there we go. Ooh, moving around tonight, moving around. All right. So don't let the additional codes sway you from your very first job. Your very first job is to look at the codes and do the process of elimination. What are we eliminating? We're going to eliminate A and B. We're going to get rid of those. You like the 5 and the 7? What is in one of our throwaways? Hey Marissa, how's it going? Did y'all notice what was in our throwaway up here? That 20 that's in one of our keepers. I love it when that happens because 9 out of 10 times it means that D is our answer, doesn't it? What's wrong, Red? Click on the spotlight until it says better together. I think it's trying to get you to do something. Yeah, it keeps, I don't know what that means. How do I win? Second place, what does this mean? 'Tis a season for appreciation. Share a story about the first TikTok Go Live connection with your audience from February 11th to February 17th to earn prizes. Who can take part? Creators must be 18 years or older. I think I'm older than that. And once the event has started, you can opt out by tapping opt out at the end. How do I win? $100 wins a live match. Chocolates win 100 points. Bears and roses 8,000 points. Balloons 3,000 points. And winners will receive a prize in diamonds. First place is 20,000 diamonds. All the way down to 7th place, which is 6,000 diamonds. So that's 6,000 diamonds is like probably $50, right? Because I have 3,000 diamonds right now, and that is worth $20. So it's somewhere around in there. Okay, but I don't know if I clicked tips for going live, better together. Yeah, I keep getting these pop-ups and I'm like getting rid of them. Spotlight. Okay, so I clicked on it this time and it's telling me to follow other people, I guess, that are going live right now. I don't know. I follow everybody that gives me gifts, diamonds, whatever those things are, every night. And then the people that watch the longest, I try to follow you too. Some of you have it protected where I can't follow you. But I try. But that's neat. I just tell a story to you guys. Are they listening to our lives? How would they know I told a story? That's funny. The first time I went live, no one was on and no one watched, but that's okay. I stayed on. I started out just doing the book prep and was kind of hoping somebody would come on and would watch me preparing the CPT book, because I was doing all that work for the first time, I did notes for the CPT book, and that was last year. So I was doing all that and never thought about teaching anybody online, but I had 1,000 followers by then because of all the little TikToks about how to answer questions on the CPC exam. So once I got to 1,000 followers, I thought, well, I'll go live, but I don't really know what to do or say. And the only thing I had was I'm still going through the CPT book and marking it up like this for you guys. And so I just was sitting in the living room, and my oldest son has one of these cranes because he has to hold a light above his desk to hold a light to work on his electronic stuff that he's working on and fixing for people. And I borrowed it, put the cell phone up there, and just turned it on and went live. And I was just sitting there drawing out my books, which y'all love now, but I had quit doing once I got enough followers and started doing practice exam questions. Then I was only doing lives where it was interactive with us, doing interactive questions. But recently, last 3 weeks, I started doing my OG stuff again, where I just go live and I'm working in the books and y'all can work along with me every night. And then that was my story for the very first time I went live. I was just sitting in the living room and thought, well, I don't know what I'm going to do on my live. I don't know what content. I'm just going to put this out here in the universe and see if anybody that's following me, those 1,000 people, have questions about what am I doing with the book and what good would that help. So that's what I did. All right, back to our question. We need to get to 52005. And we got almost 600 likes on this live, so I don't know if that helps, but I'll put that out in the universe. I stapled my page that I already pulled out of my 2022 book. I just stapled it to the one underneath it at the top and the bottom because I already ruined one page. Oh my goodness. 5200. In my lovely urology that I've just finished and put that out there. There we go. There's the 05 and the 07. So the only difference is with a brush. So when it is a difference between the parent and the child, just grab what the child adds, because that's easier than grabbing all that. Just grab what it includes, and all you got to do is look for the brush in your question. If there's no brush, then you know it's your parent. You don't need to make a huge search for a lot of things. You can just search for a brush. We already know that they're already hinting to us as to which one it is, I believe. And the D is going to be no brush. They would also be doing, I really wish it would focus better. There, there we go, there we go. Yay. Okay. Does anybody see? Thank you for the love. Does anybody see any brushies? No brush. I don't see any brush. You couldn't get that question written down. Which one do you want, Lewis? Me neither, but thank you, Red. It's cool. I'm happy to click on whatever if I'm supposed to. Why would they be distracting? But I guess they do. They distract the person that's going live, but I think I possibly may have won something at one point during a live, and I clicked out of it because it was just in my way. That's how I am. So, I don't do well with new things. Thank you, Jessica. Oh, I got a mirror too. That's pretty. Got subscribers on YouTube. It's just surprised me. You got subscribers on YouTube? Are you going on YouTube now? If we don't give you gifts, it won't answer the question. I don't know. Bring together. 'Tis the season of appreciation. Share a story about the first time you went TikTok live. Go live and connect with your audience. Yep. And then creators, how to win. Win a live match. I don't know. I think TikTok is sending like these bears and chocolates and balloons, and I'm supposed to catch them, but like they might appear and then I don't tap them. I don't know. It doesn't give me any information. How do I win? Oh, I could take a picture of it and show you. That doesn't make any sense that I have to get followers to send me stuff to win. But this is what it just says. That's all it gives me. I'm like, what? What does that mean? I don't know. And then as soon as it comes back, yeah, I'll show you the other part. Whoops. Not that one. That one. Don't give you much information. And then it just goes through the prizes that you win. That's it. Okay. Whoop. Good Lord, my kids are making all kinds of racket. There's what you win, of course. And this is what it says. And then right up underneath it says who can take part. You got to be 18. And then it says that, how to win. That's all. I have no idea. Win a live match. And see, I think I've got to go live spotlight matching. See, it's telling me, I don't know. Live spotlight DIY. Check out these talented. I don't know. What does a match mean? Win a live match. Does that mean I battle it out with somebody to go like do TikToks or something? I don't know. Like we go on together. Maybe I got to have somebody to go on a TikTok with me, but I'm sure I can Google something about whatever their giveaway is, or somebody's probably made some TikToks about it, but no worries. You just tap the screen. If you just tap the screen, it just automatically sends all these hearts. You just bounce your finger on the screen. Yep. Catheter was removed. Yep. Catheters removed also in 07 too, by the way. It just does not include the brushing to go along with it. Aw, thank you for the roses. Okay. There's your answer. It was D the whole time. I love it when they put the answer in one of our throwaways. It's a common practice of them. So look out for that. If you see that you can do process of elimination, you're keeping these two, and then you see that your other two only has one of the answers in it. Now sometimes they could have actually put the 4-4 in the other one, but if they didn't do that, then there's a reason why they do that, because it's always the real answer. And if you're struggling for time, you can just keep these two and then find that matches one of the throwaways and then pick that answer and run with really good confidence that you're going to get it right, because without reading it. Why radio code? This one was the therapy. What are we talking about? No, that was cancer. Oh, I don't know which one was radio. Is it that one? Is that the one you're wanting? I speeded through it. Oh, wow. I've already got 1,000 likes, guys. Thank you. Maybe that'll make a difference, because I've only done that one time before, and maybe if we keep that up, they'll... I don't care about winning the money. I'm more interested in getting my TikTok key so I can stream better for you guys on TikTok. Because if I can get my TikTok key, streamer key, then that information I can put into OBS or some other streaming device where system app thing like Discord, and combine the best of TikTok with their functions and be able to share my computer screen with you guys without having to have my cell phone focus in on the questions. Y'all will just see it magically on your screen. It'll be lovely. And then I can just keep my camera focused on the book of notes that I know y'all want to see all the time. Because the notes are what helps so much too. All right, let's see. All right, have I got any other questions? Let's see. Yep. Critical care, critical care. I love it when it's critical care, right? There we go. Critical care. Just getting to our 91 code. I'm slow at turning the pages. So 99291 is critical care. We do not pay attention to anything that is underneath the CPT code descriptors as anything. Don't pay attention to where it says 30 minutes to 43 minutes, then it says an additional 30 minutes. Please don't ever, ever pay attention to anything that's there and try to do any math on your own. All you need for critical care, and we love critical care, is this one chart. I've modified mine to get rid of the confusing parts that say times 1, times 1. Those are garbage. They should not be in that chart. But other than that, the chart is perfect. This is what you use to code critical care. She's getting rid of C and D. Wonder why she's getting rid of... Oh yeah, because they're both... Yep, perfect. That was an 85 and a 75. Yep, the two uppers are the same answer. So on this question that I got to get to focus again. I don't know why I moved the camera. I just keep doing it. There we go. We have two that are the same answer. We don't care what the other codes are or the modifiers. We're only looking right there. So we most definitely get rid of the bottom two, and we're keeping these two. Now, it is kind of cool that the 56 is in these last two, but there's a difference in the 55 and the 56. And that's more likely what they're asking. And then they have the 88 that's random, but then they have this one that's in all of them. But I'm curious. I bet it's the difference between the 55 and the 56, but there's also a guideline that is attached to critical care about what you can code with it and what you can't. And there's a list in E&M, and if you don't know about that list, you need to make sure you know about it. I'm trying to find it because it's nowhere near critical care where it should be. It's on page 59 of the 2022 book, and I think it's on page 57 of the 2021, but I could be wrong. There is this list in the back of E&M section. It's under inpatient neonatal pediatric care guidelines. It's all these written words that there's no codes anywhere near around it. It's just a bunch of words and garbage. But this list is super nice and handy dandy because it is a list of the CPT codes that you can use in critical care. And is there an 82803 number in any of this? I don't remember there ever being an 8 number in here. Lots of 9s and lots of 3s. So even if you didn't know what was going on, you're going to know this critical care has a list that's in E&M. Be sure you know where it's at. And if that number isn't on that list, you can't code it with critical care. So this one, in our A and B, the difference right here is this 8 is in 1 and then 8 is not in A. Because 8,000 code is not on that list, we know our answer is going to be A. Even without looking at anything. I'm not seeing the 4 choices. All I see is the 5255 right here. Okay. All right. Yeah, they have these additional codes over here to the side. So we're doing the process of elimination. We like the 07 and the 05 just because they're super close numerically to each other. So we would get rid of the 5281 and the 5200. The other thing that I find interesting is that the second code here that we're eliminating, there's a match on this side with the 220s. And because there's a match with the 220s, I know that my answer is going to be D because one of my throwaways, it's an impossible concept to think about, but one of my throwaway answers has the answer in it that makes the difference. And that is that 20 code. So I know D is my answer without even looking at the question. Now we went and looked at the question. We looked up the difference between the 05 and the 07 and picked out our answer. But I'm just showing you that there's a pattern, and I know about it, that they are, I love it when they do this, because they do it in the exam. I'm not saying it's 100% of the time, but even if it's 40 to 50% of the time, it's worth a look over, because that could save you so much time and stress about worrying whether it's 07 or 05. Is that you're getting a hint right here to tell you that it's the 20. I hope that makes more sense that way. But the difference was a brush in the 07 and an ejaculation brush. They only did an injection. We had no ejaculation brush, so we had no word match for that, saying that they were doing anything with that. So we knew our answer was the 05 anyway. But I'm telling you, there's a clue sometimes in their patterns of picking out answers and questions that you probably don't even need to look at the answer to figure it out. Or the question, I mean. All right, have we finished this one? This is that kid, right? We know that the 8 code can't be coded with critical care, so that automatically eliminates these two anyway. And we know we're in critical care. We're not going to be a 475. No idea what it is, but this is a near drowning. That is critical care services. The doctor did 30 minutes of critical care time. It does say it is critical. And we are just going to bill for 30 minutes of critical. And even if you look at your critical care chart, it tells you to bill just the 9-1 by itself. And because it's a child who's under the age of 5, you get to add all the goodies in the background, which are these codes for the trach and all that stuff that are on page 59 of the 2022 book. Anybody younger than 5 gets to add goodies to critical care. Otherwise, critical care takes care of all that stuff. I'm sorry, Lewis. Yep. I will definitely post it up on YouTube. Okay. And that's my last one. And I'm ending right at 2 hours. Where is Twinkle at? Where is she at? I think I got 5 more minutes. Any questions? Anything y'all want to know or see? I'm going to do neurology write-up in the book. We are moving along in neurology. I'm going to go say hi and visit with my mom. Right now I'm on codes 6300. This is where I'll be working in to start off. Give me 30 minutes to go spend some time with her and put some dishes in the dishwasher, and then I'll be right back to do another live. I know it goes by so fast. Doesn't it, MK? It does. 2 hours is boom, gone. I'll be back till midnight working on neurology. So if you want some code by code, what do I put here? We'll work on that. Yes, there's a list of topics for the exam as far as a list of what sections they go over in what books. I have a list on Etsy that is a verbal and written account of what's been on the exam in the last 60 days of certain vocabulary terms, CPT codes. It's just a memory of what people remember was on the exam. It's raw data, nothing formal. When people tell me, I put a date on it and what was on their exam, what codes, what questions, if they remember any, especially if they've done tutoring with me. Like Beth picked out several of the questions that we did in tutoring that were actually the ones from her exam. So those are on there, and that document's on Etsy. It's like 30 pages now. It collected November, December, January, and February so far. So last 12 weeks of what's been on it from people's memories right after they took it. So that's a cool document. Oh, thank you. No. You're the best. I can't wait to hear about you passing too. It's going to be wonderful. We have so many going to be taking it this Saturday too. So we've got Wendy and some more. That's who I remember off the top of my head because I just did tutoring with her. If you want individual tutoring, go to my website, Medical Coding by Jen. I'm adding new stuff every day on there too. We're going to have some neat features coming up soon. So if you haven't joined, it's going to be filling up. That's where I'm going to have my practice questions there because I want them graded in real time so that y'all can take the questions and do them in real time there and get feedback from me as soon as you take one, even per question. So you don't have to wait till the end of doing like 50 of them to get the answers and rationale. I want it per question. So I'm working on that right now, building that back up and adding new features every day. I got Discord on there. I got the Facebook on there. And if you have not joined our Discord, we have practice rooms in there for CPC exam questions. I have copies of my books and why I make them up and what to do. That's also on the website too. You click on each picture in the website and it'll give you a full description of what I'm doing in that picture and why it's important for the exam. So that's on the website too. So you can message me, email me. There's a link in the TikTok profile of me that's got 20% off of TikTok or Etsy, but it also has my Gmail email listed there. So you can email me there too if you have questions. I'm on Messenger. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Discord, I'm a little bit everywhere, but if y'all need me, I will be back on Friday night to do more questions. I'll be doing CRC questions and medical auditing questions mixed in with our CPC questions. So that'll be a fun time Friday night, 6:30. So with that, I'm going to hang it up and I'll be back in a few minutes and we'll get started with the rest of this neurology. And hopefully we can get further than I did yesterday because I was just chatting up a storm. I got to get these codes done and get this sucker published. Sorry, MK, what were you asking? And Kenzie is the AAPC CPC CPT E&M guidelines. The document of what was on the CPC exam the last 3 months, I guess it would be, is gonna be. So if that's the list of stuff. This is if you want to keep your 2021 book and turn it into a 2022 book for CPT, and that's the one for ICD-10. This one right here with the Medicare picture, that's what's been on the CPC exam for the last 45 days. It looks like that. It's got that what's in Medicare Part A, B, C, and D picture on it. And that's just tons of raw information from people to tell you what was on it. Plus I added in my top 10 what do you need to know guidelines. Be sure you know anemia with chemotherapy or dehydration, those kind of things, toxic effect, accidental, like if you took too many mushrooms, hernia repairs, those kind of things. It has that on it too. But that's a cool document that everybody helped make, and the proceeds from that go directly to giving out free sections of the book. I gave out 2 today. Gave out an ear and an eye, or 2 ears, or 2 eyes. I don't remember, somewhere around in there. And sections of the book. I gave out 2 today. Gave out an ear and an eye, or 2 ears, or 2 eyes. I don't remember, somewhere around in there. And a urology yesterday. So people that I find out through the grapevine, maybe struggling with some time and money, I give out free tutoring to when it's needed. You know, we've had some people take the darn exam 10 times before they get to me, and they are just, I mean, literally 10 times, and then they just can't afford one more thing. So that document helps out for that. So yeah, Kenzie, no worries. And again, I have a coupon that if you type it all in as one word, 30% gin. If you're buying 2 items, or more, I think, or it's 2 or 3, I think it's 2. That'll take 30% off your cart too. So I hope this has all been helpful. I will be back in just a few short minutes, 20 minutes. I'll go talk with Mom. I'll be back at 9 o'clock my time, Arizona time zone. So I hope this has been helpful. Don't forget, we'll do more questions on Friday night, but I will be here tonight till midnight. Good night, guys. Almost got 2,000 likes. Woohoo! Maybe we can make that for, oh, we do. We got 2,000 likes now. Ooh, maybe TikTok will like me now. That's cool. All right. First time hitting that. That's cool. Oh, no. We're not going to welcome to Bixby.